If you've already seen the Tecno Spark 20 Pro, then you already know of the Infinix Hot 40 Pro as well. Both phones are hot with great features, and I've gotten a lot of positive feedbacks from those who recently bought them. Depending on your location, the 156GB variant of both phones is around 200,000 naira. As similar as these phones look, in this video I will talk about the main differences between them. But first off, let's start with their similarities. Both phones have almost the same features, if not exactly the same in every aspect. The most obvious similarity between them is their design, and if you don't look closely, you might not be able to differentiate one from the other. They have the same height and width, the same position for their volume and power button, and the same position for their SIM tray. They also have the same SIM tray, so you can just pull the tray of one of the phones out and insert it into the other phone. It will perfectly fit in. Still on the design, both phones have dual speakers and are located in the same position. Even the audio jack, microphone and the charging port are still in the same place. When it comes to the additional features of these phones, aside from the difference in app icons, which is due to the theme of the phones, there are tons of similarities here. They support the dynamic bar with the same appearance and function. The Hot 40 Pro has Fullest AI assistance and the Tecno Spark 20 Pro has LR. The special functions in the settings of both phones are also the same, despite that they have different arrangements. Some of the features here have different names, but the functions are the same. One of the critical aspects of a mobile phone that users are very much interested in is the performance. Normally, one would expect that the performance of one of these phones will be faster than the other. Naturally, I will feel the same way. But from the speed test I conducted, I found that both phones have the same performance. They open apps at the same rate, unlock the phone at the same rate, and perform a whole lot of tasks at the same rate. There are times when one phone will open an app faster, and at other times, the other phone will open the same app faster. On the average, they have the same performance. This is because they have the same CPU, the Helio G99. Another similar spec is their cameras. Both phones have the same 108MP sensor for the main camera and a 32MP sensor for the selfie camera. They support macro mode, sky shot mode, and slow motion mode. Even though pictures from both cameras look so much similar, there is a noticeable difference, and I will talk about that soon. Next in the line of their similarity is their display. They have a punch-hole IPS screen with a 120Hz refresh rate and the same screen display brightness. You cannot differentiate them by looking at the display alone because they have about the same display size. Even their bezels are the same. I went further to play the same games on both phones and found that there is not much differences here as well. For example, with standard graphics settings on both phones, the eFootball game will work just fine. Players will respond to commands promptly. But once the graphics settings is increased to high with the highest frame rate, the game will lag on both phones. Basically, if you are looking to buy one of these phones based on gaming alone, you don't have a choice to make here. You just have to pick one of them based on picking sake. Even battery drainage and overheating rate is about the same on both phones. Finally, both phones run on Android 13, are powered by a 5000 mAh battery and supports 33W fast charging. Now, what are the differences between these phones? I found three differences between them. The first one is the 400% volume boost for the Tecno Spark 20 Pro. The second one is the camera, and the third one is the design. Before I tell you about these differences, I just want to remind you how important it is to me when you like my video and subscribe to my channel. Just in case you want to buy one of these phones, be sure to use the link in the description as well. Now, the first difference between them is the 400% speaker volume boost for the Tecno Spark 20 Pro. My understanding is that the Tecno Spark 20 Pro speaker volume can be increased by 400%, making it louder than the speaker of the Hot 40 Pro. However, every time I try to increase the volume to 400% on the Spark 20 Pro, it didn't work. I don't know the particular reason for this. Maybe with an update it might start working. The second difference between them is their design. They have the same camera module shape, but if you look closely, you will notice that the Spark 20 Pro camera module is smaller and more like a perfect square. All the sides are equal. The Hot 40 Pro, on the other hand, has a bigger module with one side longer than the other. Their flashlights too are not similar. The Hot 40 Pro's flashlight is bigger as well. Then the last thing to consider here is their cameras themselves. They are a bit different in their style. That brings us to the last difference between the Spark 20 Pro and the Hot 40 Pro, their camera quality. The results from their photo mode show clearly that the Spark 20 Pro takes finer pictures. For example, if you look at this section of the flower from the pictures, you will find that the Spark 20 Pro is more color enhanced. The quality of their cameras looks so raw most of the time. Finally, the Infinix Hot 40 Pro camera supports dual camera mode, while the Tecno Spark 20 Pro does not. These are the only differences I found on both phones, and as you can guess, there are very few differences between them. Now, just in case you are considering one of these phones, which one should you buy? In my opinion, price should be your determining factor. So if you ask a seller how much both phones are worth and it tells you a different price, go for the cheapest one, save yourself the change. This is the main review of the Tecno Spark 20 Pro, and this is the main review of the Infinix Hot 40 Pro. Check them out and see you again.